Today's video is sponsored on Patreon by Daniel Stewart. Hazezon versus Thassa with a 1-lander. That's no good, so we'll mulligan. And that's a pretty slow one, but yeah, we'll just try and limp our way up to Kodama's Reach. Have to hope that Thassa doesn't have the usual fast mana that they always have. Alright, a tap land in Myriad Landscape is pretty slow. Apparently it's us that gets into the fast mana. That is a Sol Ring, so we can get down a tap land here and then go for Sol Ring Kodama's Reach next turn. Thassa cracking a Fabled Passage, and we get into our first desert in Survivor's Encampment, so we will hold on to that for now. Get down our commander next turn into the desert, but for now it is the Kodama's Reach. Okay, draw into Thassa Retreat. I think we do just go for our commander here, and then I can drop a land and play Horn of Greed. Won't draw off the Horn of Greed, unfortunately. Playing Survivor's Encampment is a desert, of course, so it will make us a couple of creature tokens. Haven't seen the Sand Warrior tokens, actually. This is the first time playing the deck. Saw a Felwar Stone last turn, so the Cloud of Fairy is going to come into play and untap those lands. Then making use of the Felwar Stone to crack the Myriad Landscape, get 2 lands into play. They haven't played a land from hand yet, so not making use of Horn of Greed. We see a Beast Within, so maybe blowing up one of their lands is a good idea to keep them off the Thassa. So let's go Thassa Retreat here, and we can start making tokens. Drop a land, we'll make a cat token, and we will draw a card to the Horn of Greed. Draws us into another land. We can only make 1 land a turn at the moment. So let's swing in with everything, and I think I am going to blow up one of their lands with the Beast Within. They could well draw into a land here and get out the Thassa anyway. Alright, and they do, so that cantrips. And yeah, like I say, going to get down the Thassa anyway. Does send them down a land at the very least. Holding back the Beast token, as they should. And playing their commander, they will untap 2 lands here, thanks to flickering the Cloud of Fairies. Titania, Protector of Argoth. So let's drop a land to draw a card into the Horn of Greed. And that draws us into Maya, Bretagard Protector, which will buff our commander so we can actually swing in, so I think we play that here. Might as well get the Tiller Engine into play as well, because I'm not worried about a board wipe against a blue deck. Turn our 4-4 in Sideways and the 3-3. They want to double block on our commander, then I'm not particularly worried about that. Okay, Rapid Hybridization goes on to this thing, so they can now trade our commander for the Beast, which isn't the worst trade. Omen Speaker into play now, which is just Scry 2 when it enters. Still struggling on the lands apparently, but they will have all 4 mana held up during the next turn. Cloud of Fairy is going to swing in, and they will flicker and untap that as well as the 2 lands. Okay, Crucible of Worlds, pretty good. We just need a sack outlet for the desert now. We've only drawn into 1 desert. So let's play out Titania, Priest of Argoth here. Holding on to counter magic, that is Cryptic Command, not cantripping at least. They bounce the Thassa Retreat, which I'm not that worried about, to be honest. I'll probably get down Crucible of Worlds. I'm not too worried about holding up Grand Crescendo. So our commander gets countered here. Play the Crucible of Worlds, we can at least drop lands. Arguably Crucible of Worlds is going to do more damage to our opponent here, so that draws us into Beastmaster Ascension, speaking of doing damage. Crack that, just gets us into a Savannah, and we can swing in here, I think. Now starting to make the lands, they drew another one off Horn of Greed there, and throwing themselves into a Gilded Lotus, 5 cards left in hand. And that takes them into a Sensei's Top, it's all going well for them here. Spinning the Sensei's Top as well. Holding back both their creatures, they flicker the Cloud of Fairies. Alright, gets us into a Verdant Catacombs, so I think it might as well be the Thassa Retreat here. We can put plus counters on everything at this point, I think. Spinning Sensei's Divining Top with that on the stack. Drawing a card with Sensei's Divining Top, so maybe they've got a 1-mana counter spell available to them. And that is a Swan Song, gives us another creature for the Beastmaster Ascension, which I don't mind. So we'll have that online next turn. Just 1 creature shy of it at the moment, unfortunately. See what we draw into. Just draw into another land from the Horn of Greed, so let's go for Beastmaster Ascension and hold up the Grand Crescendo. Alright, and our opponent decides to scoop there. They're drawing into Sensei's Divining Top next turn, so if they don't have any other means of card draw, which they will do through the Sensei's Divining Top, could have reorganised the top 3 cards and hoped for some kind of bounce spell or something maybe, but didn't fancy their odds, so we win that one. We'll try another game. Hazezon versus Zaxara this time with additional land drops, Raminap, a desert. Yeah, I don't see a reason to get rid of that one really. Be nice to get into some ramp as well as means of card draw, but there we are. Throw down exploration and we'll drop the plains here. Might be able to get into another land so that we can throw the desert out into our commander. A fetch for the Raminap would be useful for us. Make 2 lands a turn. Our opponent just gets down Lityara Mirror Lake, which will make a copy of a creature. Okay, do get into a land, unfortunately. It's of no use to us until Raminap hits play, so we'll have to drop the desert here. Oh, and actually totally forgot that's a tap land, so I should have played that last turn. Well, we'll throw down the guy's cradle anyway. So giving our opponent an extra turn against us here. We're at least holding up the Path to Exile. I doubt they'll drop anything that we're that worried about. Well, our guy's cradle will always tap for mana now, thanks to Urborg being in play. They get out a Lightning Greaves as well, so have to make sure to hold up Path to Exile on our opponent's turn. Okay, another desert for us, so we'll get down our commander at this point. Throw down the Scavenger Grounds, a desert, into our commander, and that is a couple of Sand Warrior tokens. And then that means that the guy's cradle taps for 3 mana, so we can get down the Raminap at this point. So either a sack outlet for one of our lands or a fetch would be good. Sack outlet would be preferable because then we can make multiple deserts a turn, which obviously means multiple Sand Warriors. We go for Simic Growth Chamber, bouncing the Urborg. Drawing a Greensleeves Marrow Sorcerer this time. Gonna wait until we've actually got landfall for that, because we might be waiting a long while and our opponent might wipe the board in the meantime. So we will swing in here. Now if we're desperate we could sacrifice a desert to this. We'll just exile it from our graveyard, that's all, and we will lose red mana in doing that. So yeah, I'd obviously rather not do that. We'll just hold up the Path to Exile. Our opponent may well scoop to us exiling their commander here, because I dare say that's what they're going for. Going for the Lightning Greaves on there, so we'll give them a land with the Path to Exile. Up against Rosheen this time, 3rd time's a charm hopefully. Yeah, we've got deserts, all of our colours. Lotus Cobra is some decent ramp for us. Well, actually Lotus Cobra is pretty much the only good card in hand there, but yeah, whatever, we'll try it. We're on the draw at least. Elvish Mystic into play from our opponent. That gets us into the exploration again, so that means that we go for the Scalding Tarn. That can get us into a Gruul land. Play out the exploration and we'll drop... Yeah, it'll have to be a tap land here. We'll just go for the White Desert. Tireless Tracker from our opponent. Gets us into another land, so... yeah, I think we could go for our commander here, I suppose. Actually, no, we can't, because I played the wrong land last turn, so let's go for a Plains. Then play the Lotus Cobra. I'll hold on to these 2 lands for when our commander's in play. Drawing into a lot of white mana, unfortunately. It would be good if this was a forest or a mountain, because then we could get our commander out here, but, well, there we are. Landfall now going to investigate with the Tireless Tracker, and they do get landfall twice here, thanks to the Prismatic Vista. And throwing out the Rosheen Meanderer there. And now we get into a forest, which we could have done with last turn, so let's get down our commander here. We'll throw down the forest. And then our commander get out the desert as well, which will trigger the Lotus Cobra and our commander. And let's make green mana there. Might as well throw out the Beastmaster Ascension here, I think. Might get into a sack outlet for a desert and we can really start threatening damage with the Beastmaster Ascension. Cracking a Clue token puts a plus counter on the Tireless Tracker. And now they've got a big X spell to cast apparently. Maybe a Green Sun Zenith. Nope, that is Naya's Intervention. Search your library for X lands, put them into your hand. So they go from 5 up to 9 cards in hand. There is a Strip Mine. They play the Urza's Saga. Forgotten Cave is there as well. Tranquil Thicket also. Discarding a tap snow land to hand size. Okay, Esper Sentinel isn't terrible. Let's just drop the Plains, which will give us a white mana with Lotus Cobra. And we'll use that mana to play the Esper Sentinel. And yeah, the loose plan here, we can go X is 4 into the Grand Crescendo. And that means we can swing in everything with the Beastmaster Ascension and hopefully start dealing a massive amount of damage next turn. Playing Gamble and tapping into the Esper Sentinel, so we're making them spend more mana on that. They've got a grip full of 7, so it's likely that they will keep whatever they tutor for here. And discarding a Sheltered Thicket, so they've got a grip full of lands. We know of 3 of them. That was a big X spell that they went for, I dare say. A Bonfire of the Damned, so pretty good idea to hold up the Grand Crescendo apparently. X damage to a target player and each creature they control. X is 3 here, so that would wipe out all of our creatures. X is 4 here, so we get a bunch of citizen tokens and they gain indestructible. Yep, and our opponent scoops there, the writing's on the wall. Like I said, we get 4, 8, we have 9 creatures next turn all of them in sideways, and they all get a +5/+5 buff, so not sure if we actually get our opponent next turn, but yeah, it's pretty imminent that we will do. We were just drawing into a land next turn. Don't see enough people running Grand Crescendo yet. Everyone thinks of Heroic Intervention still, but if you're in a white deck, running Grand Crescendo is a really good mana sink for you. So it's something to consider for everyone, I think. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed that visit to Hazezon, Shaper of Sand. If you want to see more from it, then be sure to hit the like button and share it with your friends. I do keep a close eye on the view counter, so if you don't watch the video, well, you're not hearing this anyway, but if you don't view the videos, then I'm not likely to revisit the commander, because it's obviously not a very popular one. Anyway, you did watch it, so a big thank you for making it to the end of the video. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.